So that's a good example of a low ring muscle up routine or workout with limited space. So today I'm going to take you through the exercises to achieve your first ring muscle up or even routine using a low setup like this. So most people when they're training at home don't have a great clearance, but they still want to work towards skills like the muscle up, skin to cat, front lever, back lever, L-sit to shoulder stand, and everything in between. Now I'm lucky that I've got this set up in the garage where I've got this bar as close as I can to the ceiling and just be able to put the straps over the top, meaning I'm making the most of the space that I have. But you can still do this workout even if you're using a lower pull-up bar. I even done a video a little while ago using that red bar I've got, actually it's over here, and I've done a full ring workout attaching the rings to this. So let's run through the exercises, the prerequisites to get us this muscle up. Now, if you don't have them yet, it doesn't matter. We can start to work towards them and start to fill the gaps, again, just using these rings. So we need dips. We need to be able to go from this top support position here. Notice the toes aren't touching the floor. If I have limited space, I might need to bend the legs up like so. And then I want to be able to go all the way down until my biceps touch the rings. And then I go all the way back up to that start position. Ideally, for repetitions. Now, if you can't do that on the rings, you could use bars. So yeah, if you have something like this, this will work perfectly because you can move them around to where you like them, have them nice and close so your arms touch your torso in that position, and then you can work towards your dips. Exactly the same, top support position, all the way down, nice and deep leaning forwards, so mimicking that same position we just did on the rings, and back up again. But if you can't do it on the bars, all the rings, we just go through the regressions. And the regressions are the same for the bars that they are for the rings. So if you're totally new to it, just do these regressions I'm about to show you, but on the bars. So we need to be able to do a hold, top support, just spend time here. Want to build it up so we can hold 20 to 30 seconds. Exactly the same with the bottom of the dip, so here. So 20 to 30 seconds in this position. Now, if either of those are too hard, light toe assist. But look, no difference between this position and this position. I've just got my toes down. I'm not changing the position because my feet are down. That's a mistake that's very common. So make sure it looks exactly the same whether you're using toe assist or not. We could do eccentrics, so holding that top position, slowly coming down to that bottom position, and then jump up again, top support to the bottom. We can use band assist, where we just loop the band between the hands or between the rings, one foot on, second foot on, kneel into the band like so, and do your repetitions. Obviously, the thicker the band, the easier it is. The thinner the band, the harder it is. Just make sure, again, that the movement, the pathway, the technique looks exactly the same as the end goal, that 3 full repetitions of the dips. We need to have the bottom part of the movement, so that chin up. Now, the big difference is if we're using low rings like this, and we're going to be training the muscle up like this, we should also train the chin up in this way. Because we could move the rings up higher to our limitation of the bar, but then we're not learning the same chin up that we need, because for the muscle up, we're going to need the rings at this height. So we should practice our chin up at this height as well. Now, it's not just a standard chin up, we need a false grip chin up. So become comfortable with the false grip. Make sure you're in a strong position there where your hand is on top of the ring, but your arm is underneath the ring. But we're pushing down on the rings, or pulling down if you want to think that. But this is very different than this. This won't get your muscle up unless you use some sort of kip, or you have freaky chin-ups and can just go really, really high and skip the transition. But for most people, we're going to need this false grip position. Now, this feels really uncomfortable if you're not used to it. Notice I've got some tape on here. This is because I don't have chalk at the moment. Ideally, I would be using chalk and put a band of chalk here and up the hand, exactly where the ring's going to be. And then I just need to check that I can do an L-sit type chin-up in a false grip position until my chest touches the ring. So I need to be directly underneath the rings. I need to be in a false grip position. Ideally, I'd lean back a little bit to make sure that the arms are straight, like so. Bring the feet up and then just see if I can touch the rings and come back down again. Now, I'm looking to touch the ring with my chest, but if I have a gap, if I pull and I can only get to here, I need to close that gap. So we need to make it slightly easier. Probably the best way to do it is just work on your false grip chin-ups if you're strong enough. If you're not strong enough for a false grip chin-up, you need to do a false grip row. So exactly the same, but a row type movement. And I can feel my hands are slipping. This tape is not working at 35 degrees. So you just condition it more in that position first if you don't have the false grip conditioning, the false grip strength to do your chin up. But if you do have the chin up and it's just missing a little bit of a gap, we need to also do some holds in the top position. So I'm just going to hold here with my chest touching the rings. Now I'm trying to make the toes as light as possible in that position, but making sure that the rings are against my chest. And then as you get more conditioned with that false grip position, you'll be able to do some holds. So false grip into the position, hold, L sit, with a slow eccentric back down. Now you just have to play with time and attention, repetitions and sets to make sure you get enough volume in to fill all your gaps. So then if you have your ring dips, you have your ring false grip chin up until your chest touches this, the gap is the transition. How do we go from this position here to this position here? This is the transition. This is the bit we need to go through the pathway 2005 times. Obviously, that's just a number I'm putting out there, but we need to do it a lot. We need to go from this bottom of the dip, top of the false grip chin up, and back again, and make this feel like it's a walk in the park. I can hold a conversation while I'm doing it, and I'm not thinking about it. Subconsciously, I'm just doing the movement. What we don't want to do is this type of thing and have it look nothing like the real thing. It needs to look exactly the same as the actual muscle up transition. And I want to keep contact all the time with the rings as I go through that transition. My hands are going through or tracing the line of my pecs from the top of the chin up to the bottom of the dip and back again. Making sure that every time I go back to the bottom position that I'm in the false grip. We can also work drills where we're actually doing the full movement and we're just assisting ourselves slightly. So one way would be to do an eccentric. So here, bottom of the dip, through the transition, top of the chin up, slowly come down, rest, do it again. Or I could do the full movement, but toe assist. So I'm going to start in a kneeling position, like so. I'm going to lean backwards, make sure I've got that false grip. I push through the toes, lift up, chest touches, come through. Now I can notice there that I was actually too far backwards. I have to lean forwards and push forwards with the body to get into the bottom of the dip. So I actually need to be more underneath the rings. Again, we want to be mimicking the full movement where I come from an underneath hanging position to above the rings in one movement. So here, that's better. Now I'm coming up through the transition all the way up into the top of the dip, and I can then do an eccentric toe assist back down again. Now I really am struggling with all these repetitions with no chalk. Get some chalk. So I'm going to rest this now. I'll let my twin brother demonstrate the full movement. So the L sit, the transition, and then the dip. Now once we're above the rings, we can play there. If you have a L sit to shoulder stand, I'd highly recommend that you're working the L sit to shoulder stand if you don't have it ready to go. But if you do have it ready to go, just practicing that on this position. So tuck, tuck, and back again. Now the risk of learning this movement on low rings is if we do go over, you're going to hit the floor hard with your feet. Smash your heels into the floor, really hurts. It's actually much better to learn this skill on rings higher up. And if you're using the bars, put them nice and close to the wall. I've got lots of videos on the L sit to shoulder stand, so make it nice and strong and controlled before you do it on low rings. But if you're ready to go, the other way of protecting yourself and making sure that you don't fly over is to frog the legs a little bit in the shoulder stand. Now this also then carries over to the forward roll, and I've got other videos on the forward roll that I'll link in the description. But the idea is as we go from the L sit, whether it's here or here, and then I come into my shoulder stand, but I frog the legs, and that just stops me now. I can't go over. If I get stuck, I can actually go through the rings with control because it's so much slower. I'm not whipping my legs over fast and falling into the floor. So we know what to do for the L sit to shoulder stand. We know what to do for the muscle up. Next, we just need to work on that skin to cat straight arm strength movement that's going to carry over to back lever, front lever, and just be able to spin around the rings with control with the straight arm. So what we're going to do is hands this way on the rings. I'm going to kneel down, turn them again as I come down onto my knees. So I'm in this position. So German hang. Fantastic way to mobilize and condition the shoulders. We can just hold here for time. We could lift up in this position if we have more conditioning. And then all we're going to do is from the German hang is we're going to straighten our legs, come into this position, Now step 1, or 2 legs slowly up and then slowly down. Now, if I can't go slowly down, I can push my legs into my arms, or I can take one leg down first, like so, into this position. And then the goal is to then just rewind that, find the floor, come back out, and just practice that until we can go from that position to that position and back again for repetitions. Then we can choose to hold in our back lever positions or our front lever positions for time. And then as my twin is showing again, we just put it into a routine that's applicable to our current level and our setup, because yours might be different to mine, and that's going to determine the skills that you can work towards. Let me know down in the comments if you have questions with this one. Oh, and tickets are now available for my UK workshop. I'm there on August the 10th in Nottingham. I'm going to be at CrossFit Nottingham. If you're after coaching, check out my app or send me a message about online coaching, and I'll speak to you guys in the next one.